Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and today we're going to be talking about what came in this package. Full disclosure, this was sent to me for free for the purposes of review, and to be completely honest, I had no idea this was a thing. Like literally today, this showed up in the mail, at least the day I'm recording this, and I found out about its existence the day before. This comes from Retro Fighters. They never told me they were sending this, it just showed up. And when stuff like that happens, normally I don't really do videos on it, but Retro Fighters, I cover their stuff because frankly they make really good things. Like I've absolutely fallen in love with some of their controllers over the years, but like in the past, like Retro Fighters, in case you've never heard of them before, I've done videos on a lot of their things, but they make controllers that are basically designed around fighting controllers, but for retro game consoles. So like there's an NES one. I never did a video on it, but I've shown it in the past. The N64, the Brawler, is really where that kind of all exploded. They also did a one for the Genesis and the Saturn. I thought for the Saturn, it was like a life changer. For the Genesis, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but for the Saturn, I thought it was amazing. They also did a Dreamcast one, and then they did like a wireless N64 one. So, you know, they make good stuff, and so in that being said, that's mostly why I'm doing this. If you're interested in this, you can, I believe, get it at their website, or you can get it at Castlemania Games, which incidentally is how I found out this even existed, through an ad that Castlemania Games had like yesterday. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's open up the box here. We'll get past the tape, and inside, there it is, we have the Duelist. That is what this is called. Now, first impressions, when I saw the ad, my first instinct might be the same as yours, which was, oh cool, a GameCube controller done by Retro Fighters. That's not what this is. It's clearly GameCube inspired. It's the same indigo color as the standard GameCube controller, which hilariously, I was going to show you in comparison, only to find out I don't actually own an indigo GameCube controller. Who knew? I have that Wavebird, I'm sorry, I have a Wavebird, I have that keyboard GameCube controller from Japan. Somehow I don't have the standard indigo GameCube controller. You got me. But anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so they made this specifically for the Switch and the PC. Now, I won't be covering the PC side of things because I don't game on PC, but as my understanding that it works just fine on there. The only trick to it is that you do require a wired connection, and it's USB-C. However, with the Nintendo Switch, it is wireless, which we're going to go over in a second. But let's go over some of the features here. So the Duelist, which originally was a Kickstarter project and then was canceled back in 2020, they ended up just producing it on their own, so that's very cool. It's specifically designed for this, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Not that it doesn't work on other things, of course does, but this is really its wheelhouse is this particular game. Let's go ahead and read this. The Retro Fighters Duelist wireless gamepad features an array of new features in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate gaming community. The Duelist is designed with comfort and ergonomics in mind, so it feels great in the hands and allows for easy access to all buttons. The Duelist showcases an innovative take on the classic GameCube controllers. Players can now perform their favorite smash or short hop attacks with the push of the new S button. The Retro Fighters Duelist wireless gamepad features the latest Bluetooth technology. The controller has a range of 30 feet, so you can game from afar. Ergonomic GameCube controller inspired gamepad for the Switch, made exclusively for Smash Bros. Ultimate. Larger A button, latest Bluetooth wireless technology, features innovative S button, performs smash or short hop attacks with ease, dual Z triggers, rechargeable lithium-ion battery, turn on system directly from controller, which I guess is a big issue for some people, LED indicator, and wireless range of 30 feet. So there you go. That is the elevator pitch for what this does. So it's kind of funny, actually, when I first heard about this, like yesterday, I first processed this, and then once I actually got the package, I was like, huh. I thought, that's a little strange to make a controller all around that, because if this was legitimately for the GameCube, I think I'd be a lot more like, oh, wow, awesome. Not that I'm not excited about this, it's just that it is odd, right? Like, it's really made for one game in particular on one console, despite looking like another thing. So my initial impression was that's a little niche, but then of course you underestimate the popularity of Super Smash Bros. So it is actually probably very logical. My only thought on that is, would tournaments ever allow for a controller like this? And my guess would be no. So I'm thinking that this is really just for people who are super passionate about Super Smash Bros., but aren't actually on that like tournament competitive level. So it's one of these things where I'm kind of guessing, because I kind of flipped on this. At first I thought, that's a little niche, but now I'm thinking like, you know what? It is niche, but in a good way. I'm thinking that maybe right away this isn't going to be the most popular thing, but I would not be surprised if in years down the road, when people are like looking at Super Smash Bros. Ultimate the way they look at Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the GameCube, or is it Melee on the GameCube? The GameCube one, sorry, Melee. When people go back and look at it like that game, they're going to want other controllers for it. And I'm betting you this is going to be the one of the more sought after ones, specifically because of that whole S button thing. So in case it wasn't obvious, let's go ahead and just go ahead and open it up and actually take a look at it. But this controller does have special configuration options for this game that allows you to do, as they put out, the final smash, or sorry, the smash and the short hop. And there you go, there's the controller. Easily just comes right out of the package. Got this little plastic bubble thing, instructions, as well as a USB-C cable. Infamously, they didn't include a keychain this time, and I've seen a lot of people upset about that, and I'm like, how many keychains do you need, man? I'm good with no keychain. Retro Fighters, I'm on your side. You don't always need a keychain. But anyway, so yeah, just basic instructions and all that sort of stuff. But there's the controller itself. So there is a button down there in the center. This is the button that allows you to cycle between those two modes, the smash mode and the short hop. And then once you've done that, this big blue S button up here is the one that actually initiates it in game. Now, I'm going to preface this in case it wasn't super obvious. I'm not a huge Super Smash Bros. Guy. I really have not played it in quite some time. So I cannot speak to the opinion of the Smash community, whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. I can only speak from the casual perspective of like, oh, this is neat, And with that regard, I think that that's a cool concept. But unlike a lot of those third-party controllers, like Mortal Kombat ones that promise easy fatalities, this actually feels like it was built like a competent person put it together. It doesn't feel bad. It feels very similar, not surprisingly, to the N64 wireless controller, because they did exactly the same one. Just the interesting thing about it, though, is, and they probably did this just because of the button configuration, if you compare the two, the N64 one in plastic has it molded saying Retro Fighters. The GameCube, I keep calling it that, the Switch one does not actually say that, which I'm a little disappointed by, but I guess I get why, because those buttons are too close, perhaps. But it says Retro Fighters on the back on a sticker. The thumbstick feels exactly like a GameCube one. The D-pad compared to... This is a Controller Chaos Smash Sonic controller for the GameCube, incidentally, that was sent to me a while back. And this one, if you compare the D-pads, the D-pad is much bigger on the newer controller. The C-stick feels very similar, but I would say the C-stick on the new one feels more elongated. It's taller. The buttons feel very different, and that's clearly by design. But yeah, the A button feels good. But again, I'm not a tournament fighter type of dude. Like, I don't play competitively, so I don't know how this would feel over long courses of time, but my initial impression is this is good. Now, you can see that I have it all set up here. So what we're going to do is, I know I've got all these games out, but that's not why we have this. We're going to fire up the Switch here, which is right there. And that should just fire up on this portable monitor here. Now, our goal is to just sync the controller. I just want to show you guys how that's done. And it should be a relatively simple process once... Yep, okay, so there's the Switch. I'm going to use the Switch Pro controller just to boot in. This is the standard Pro controller that Nintendo produced. So once that's in, we can go there. And we want to go down and sync our controllers. And I believe you do that... Controllers and sensors, change grip order. Okay, and so now we have to do L and R at the same time and press A. Oh, right, I have to press the sync button. That's right, it is. Now it's good to go. So, yeah, and it's, responsive. It's all good. Yeah, no problem there. So my plan is to go ahead and try out several games. Obviously, I'm going to play Smash Brothers. Just for my own, just confirmation, basically. But I also want to try it with some other games. Cave Story Plus, which I think is a phenomenal game. Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. And I'll try my own fighting game here. We go with Ultra Street Fighter 2. Now, the reason I'm picking those over Smash and other Nintendo titles is I just don't want Nintendo to come at me, and they still do that. So what I'm going to do now is play these, and then I'll give you final thoughts based on that feedback. Because I can't play it in front of you because I can't see what I'm doing. I ran it with these 4 games, as I said before. Now, obviously, the reason you have this primarily is for Smash. That's what they set it up for. That's what it does. So I wanted to see if it was special for anything else. So I tried another fighting game. I went with Street Fighter 2, and at first I thought it actually was useful for this, like, you know, where you have the S button and all that. But I think it was more of a placebo effect because I started thinking like, oh man, I'm doing the, you know, Blanca's, like I always play as Blanca, and I was like, I'm doing his, like, you know, like flame attack like really easily. Then this is awesome. Only to realize, no, I wasn't. Like, other buttons, you know, if I just press X and Y, like, I was having the same results. So it really was just placebo effect. I think truly that S button feature, I mean, really, by their own admission, is for Smash. But maybe there's some other games where a random combination might work out in your favor. But in my experience, other than I thought for a second in Street Fighter 2 that might be the case, but it turns out it wasn't. I used it to play, you know, Cave Story, which it worked great for the little platformer. I really enjoyed playing it that way. And the same with Rayman Legends. Like, honestly, it's just like a more affordable version of the Pro Controller, but specifically tailored to Smash. And I would say that that's its most redeeming quality. Is the Pro Controller is like 60, 70 bucks US, whereas this is like $30 US. This has more weight to it. I don't deny that at all. This is a phenomenal controller. Do not get me wrong. But if you are in the camp of, I've got a Nintendo Switch and I would like a Pro Controller, but I just can't afford it, is there a reasonable alternative? I would say the Duelist is very good for that crowd, as well as obviously what it's intended for, the Smash-specific crowd. However, if you're not super into Smash and you already have a Pro Controller, you may not really need this, to be completely honest. I think that the molding and all that is really good, and I would actually really like to try this on a real GameCube. I think that would be really something. But aside from that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I expected quality from Retro Fighters, and I got it. It's just that I don't know if I personally necessarily fit into the crack that it was designed for, because I'm not a huge Smash guy, and I do own a Pro Controller. I got nothing really negative to say about it. It's more like just, does it fit your specific gaming needs? Because it actually is quite good at the thing it's trying to do. It's just that you may not necessarily need it, but if you do need it, you won't be disappointed. So I'll put a link in the description to Castlevania Games, so you can pick it up there if you want. Thank you very much to the guys at Retro Fighters for sending this over my way. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.